What's up guys, Sloth here, and we're doing a patch notes review for patch 3.9 of Viking Invasion. As usual, we're gonna mainly focus on the balance changes, not so much on the visual stuff, but you know that from me by now. And here we go. Ratatoskr Rework. It's crazy stuff. I'm just gonna go through the rough changes here instead of just reading it all out. So, Ratatoskr now has one acorn. This acorn gives him power and movement speed and basically replaces boots for him. He also gets healing for every ability he uses on an enemy when he has the maxed out acorn. The healing is 20 plus 40% of your physical power. So if you build a lot of power, you're going to get a lot more heal, which may make Ratatoskr weaker than he was before. Ratatoskr 1 is changed. I'm not sure if the damage or scaling is changed. I don't have those in mind anymore. But now it stops on the first enemy and it slows the enemy. So what this means is he's not going to dash around the same way he did before anymore because it doesn't reset in the same sense. And he stops on the first target. But this target is slowed by a decent amount, 40%. Which can be quite devastating if you're not a very mobile guard. So, and then we have Dart's cooldown being reduced by 2 seconds for each guard with Flurry or Magma Blast. So in a 1v1 scenario, it's not going to do too much. You still have a 12-second cooldown at first, and in the end, getting that down with CDR to, I don't know, should be like 7-8-ish, plus 2 abilities, you will still have at least 4 seconds start cooldown in between, unless you buy Genjis, and then you can get it down to 2. But in a team fight where your abilities can hit multiple guards easily, you can obviously reset a lot more. So if you hit 3 enemies with Flurry, then that works much better. Flurry was also changed. Flurry is basically similar to Thor's spin, to Thor's 3 now. He spins around and damages nearby enemies for a relatively low sounding number, but he hits 4 times. So it's actually 80% scaling on that, and 85, so 170, 340 damage, which is quite a lot. Not crazy, but a lot. And he reduces their physical protections up to 4 times for every time he hits them. And that's the point. That is a reduction of 24% without any items. So he might be able to forego penetration of any kind for a very long time and go into other items if you're reliably able to hit the Flurry and hit it early on in the fight. And that's scary, especially if this stacks with other reductions. This can also set up for your ADC, because if you get that shred along with Titan's Bane and whatever, somebody with Stone Cutting Sword, maybe if you have them on the same team, and Void Shield, then Reparino. Magma Blast, Magma Blast, Magma Blast. Magma Blast has a smaller cone now, so it's easier to hit all 3 icons that it has now. 110 damage each plus 30% scaling, also pretty high damage overall. Even higher scaling actually. And enemies hit by more than 1 acorn will take additional damage. Well, that doesn't say how much more. Obviously for each acorn, I guess, but whatever. And hit by all 3 are getting stunned for 1 second. So he has CC in his kit now. And it doesn't stop there. He also has CC in his ultimate through the cosmos. Ratatoskr, no, judges, blah, 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 whatever. The ability hasn't changed really in terms of the wind-up and all that stuff, but I think it's still the same wind-up. Anyways, it has a knock-up. It has 440 damage plus 70% scaling and a knock-up. And that's huge. Knock-ups are one of, if not the best CC in Smite, because you cannot beat a knock-up. If you get knocked up, you can't do stuff. You can beat it, but it's too late at that point. You will be CC'd for the time. It also doesn't suffer from diminishing returns, meaning it can't be lowered by other CCs. So you can stun enemies and then knock them up, and it still works. And that's what makes Sylvanas halfway decent. It makes Gap really good that they have those knockups. And having that on a mobile character with high damage and high scaling on the ability, it's pretty damn strong. I think full power builds could actually work really well on him just because of that. So overall, Ratatoskr is a completely new guard. Very interesting, very scary in my opinion. I feel like he's gonna be very different to play, so you need to get used to how he needs to get played now, because his mobility is so different and his CC is so different and everything. But he could be very, very strong. I have to check out on the PTS how the numbers actually add up in a game, though. And then we got the new guard skins. I will actually open these real quick now by doing that. Does that work? Yes, okay. No, damn it, doesn't work as intended. Sorry, I'll do this real quick and we go right back into full screen afterwards. Because I cannot show them otherwise, and my software doesn't really want to do it the same way that I would want to do it. We have plenty of skins this patch, though I'm not sure how I like them. We have the Tyr skin, which is obviously really, really cool, which is part of the new event for 900 gems, where you get the Tyr and the Kali skin and plenty of other stuff. This is the, sorry, did I say Tyr? Shark skin. And this is the upgraded Shark skin if you complete the quests corresponding with it. Then we have the Kali skin for the same event. You get Ymir voice pack and a pedestal and a frame and I think an icon and a ward probably with it. So it's pretty decent. I really like those. Then we have the Anhur tier 2, which is very much like a gold skin in my opinion, because there's a lot of this blue and gold, and he also has a helmet with horns, which is pretty cool. And then we have the Ho Yi skin, which is his tier 2. I'm not a fan because I don't like his basic skin compared to the other ones, but I am sure some people will like it. And then we have the Skadi Mastery skins, who unfortunately don't look quite as cool as this in-game, but they still look pretty cool. So yeah. And with that, we jump back into the full screen. There we go. We got a cutesy Freya icon that we can probably get off Twitter somehow. Then we have the whole event, which I talked about. The quests are relatively easy to do. Some are basically just win a game, more or less, or play a bot game and stuff like that, so it's not too hard. Mac support is coming soon, so that's cool if you have friends that stick with League of Legends all the time because they can't play Smite because it was on Mac. Now there's beta support for that, so that's pretty nice. Restricted camera pitch bug is gone, which is nice, or I don't know if it was a bug, but Ram can aim properly again. Return to lobby, blah blah, doesn't matter. And updated icon for Magma Blast. We got achievements for Janus, Scylla, Susanoo, and there we are at the items. Mystical Mail getting a buff. Price reduction by 150 gold, still really expensive. Keep that in mind, it is an expensive defensive item. Physical protection increased from 30 to 40. This is, I don't think this will make it OP, but this will make it more of a viable choice. Giving it some extra defense, making it a little bit cheaper. I don't think it's going to be the standard of solo laners again at this point, given how things have panned out lately, but it's going to be picked up more often in general, which I like. Soul Eater getting a little changed, meaning the reduced health threshold for the passive to activate is going down from 50% to 25%, which I think is smart, because now you're not going to waste it at 50% anymore, which it was not the moment you need a shield, really, you know, similar to Bulwark or whatever. And the health returned from passive per stack is going up from 1% to 1.5%. You have still a max of 20 stacks, I think. So 30% health is quite good for boxing. Still a very counterintuitive item in my opinion. It still feels weird. Maybe this will make it more of a jungle item, but I wouldn't know who to put it on. So, yeah, you know. Warlock Sash is getting a change that reduces the price by 100 gold and reduces health and mana by 75 each. Good and bad, I would say, kind of, because you have less stats from the item, and the intention is to make it more of a starter item, so you can't really use Gold Sash as a starter item most of the time, simply because you don't have MP5 on the item. However, somebody in chat pointed this out, you can use it on solo lane mages because you have the MP5 from it now, which is really, really nice. And maybe someone will utilize that, especially tanky ones like Shang Kui can probably make use of that. Spectral Armor, just a glitch fix there. And we're on it, the god changes. Unfortunately, no changes to Bulwark, but what can you do? Agni, Flame Wave, increased scaling from 50% to 65%. I know this might worry some of you. I don't think it's a big deal. 15% scaling is not crazy. It's nice, but it's not crazy. It's It's a change. It's giving me a little buff, but honestly, how often do you see Agni lately? Because I don't see him very often. I see Janus, I see Isis, I see Ragin, I see Scylla, and all of them are doing much better than Agni does, so I'm okay with this. Cabrakan, the mountain, the destroyer of mountains, rather, gets a lot of buffs. Shadow Zone now affects Cabrakan himself. The man gets some extra defense. I don't know why it took so long, but it's good. I really like it. It allows him to be more aggressive because he has that defensive stats on top of everything. Not sure if it makes him viable as a support, maybe, but the problem is still that he doesn't have the large area CC that others have, and he also can get zoned off easier than other supports, unless you buy Blink, obviously, but it helps him in every position you play him in generally, so that's really nice. Seismic Crush gets a logical even scaling, which is really cool because it was always weird to have those weird uneven numbers, and it's a little bit more damage on like across most of them, so that is scary early on, especially when you consider that Refraction Shield is also getting a minor buff. So early game Cabrakan can stomp you into the ground before you know what's happening. Be aware. Cupid, Fields of Love, reduced casting time from 0.3 seconds to 0 seconds, and instead the recovery time is increased by those 0.3 seconds. Good. Finally, he can drop his ult without being interrupted. It's not going to make him OP or anything. It's still not going to be a good ADC, I think, but it's going to make him a lot more reliable and more fun to play. So, very, very good change. Fenrir. Fenrir is scary now. Fenrir gets a change that doesn't sound like much. Base mana increased from 200 to 230. Base MP5 increased from 3.7 to 4.2. The point is, the more abilities Fenrir gets off, the scarier he becomes. And if you have a lot of abilities at your disposal early on, this is scary. Fenrir will chomp down on his targets in the very early levels a lot more, and that can give him the lead that he usually needs. Kali, Mark for Death, just a fix that it doesn't affect Bloodforge anymore, which was a weird thing. Like everything you did could affect Bloodforge, so you could get Bloodforge seals off every assist, and some weird wrong values that you got. So it's still a strong guard. Doesn't really change much. Only Bloodforge not being glitched, obviously. Achievement for Medusa, blah blah. Poseidon is getting a buff. Tidal Surge, decreased mana cost and decreased meter cost. Same for Whirlpool. So that means that his abilities are gonna hit harder in the end because he has more tidal meter, especially, you know, early on when it takes him quite a while to stack it up. And he also has the reduced mana cost along with it, which makes his mana struggle a lot less visible and makes him a little more potent. Still not a top mage. Like I said, there are others that just outclass him mostly, but gives him a better early and a better chance at getting to where he wants to get. Skadi gets a visual fix, and Susanoo does not get any changes yet. However, we will see changes on him soon. I assume in the next patch when Fafnir comes out, probably. So what to take from this patch? I think especially Ratatoskr, Cabrakan, Fenrir, and Poseidon have seen some benefit from it. Mystical Male is going to be interesting. And yeah, watch out in those early fights because you have two more potential junglers, no, three more potential junglers that could be crazy early on now. So you know what to do. That's it for these patch notes. I hope you liked them. Thank you guys for watching. Duke Sloth out.